This narrative tells the story of the only girl who managed to escape after being kidnapped and assaulted for about 2 months and leading to their arrest by the police. Hello, hope you're having a good evening. Tonight I want to tell you about Sarah. Sarah is 17 years old and lives with her parents in one of the villages in Harrowing in Iran. They don't have a good financial situation. Her father's job is livestock farming and, like most rural lives, she also helps her parents. Her father takes the cows to graze. Her mother milks them, and Sarah's duty is to take the milk and deliver it to the 42-year-old man named Mr. Hamid for sale in the city. So far, everything is fine and peaceful, but this is where the story begins. One evening, like most days, Sarah puts the milk in the bar and goes to deliver them. After 10 minutes, she reaches and delivers the milk. When she wants to return, Hamid tells her, "It's very dark outside now. Come, let me give you a good flashlight." Sarah says, "It's okay, I know the way. I can go back myself." Hamid says, "What if your foot gets stuck in something and you get hurt or break it? Who will help your elderly parents then and bring the milk? Come until I get it for you." Sarah thinks to herself, "Oh, that's okay. I'll take the flashlight from him and bring it back tomorrow." Hamid calls from inside the warehouse, "I have 2 of them. Come and see which one you want." Sarah hesitates and is a little scared of Hamid's voice, but she goes into his warehouse. Because of the weak lamp in the warehouse, it's a bit dark, and when she enters, it takes her a while to get used to the darkness. Then the door is closed firmly behind her with a loud noise. She still couldn't believe what disaster was coming her way. She says, "Mr. Hamid, I think the wind has closed the door." But when she saw him behind her, she tried to shout, but Hamid grabs her mouth firmly with his right hand. He throws Sarah on the old bed in the corner of the warehouse, sticking tape over Sarah's mouth as she struggles to escape his grip, tying her hands and feet with the rope he had prepared before. Sarah feels suffocated, tears streaming down her face like spring clouds, but she can't do anything about it. Hamid takes off his own pants, rips Sarah's clothes off her body, and mercilessly assaults her. There's no fight left in Sarah. With tear-filled eyes, she tells him, "You've done your part. Now, let me go." Hamid looks at her and smiles. Continues, "I swear, I won't tell anyone. I even say the tires got punctured, that's why I'm late, and Mr. Hamid helped me and fixed it." As Sarah is speaking these words, a slap from Hamid makes her realize that talking is useless. About an hour passes and Sarah's parents become worried. They head towards Hamid's house, hoping she might be there. They knock on the door and Hamid comes out, stating that Sarah didn't bring the milk and never came today at all. Sarah's father checks out the courtyard but doesn't see anything unusual, because Hamid had already hidden Sarah's belongings somewhere else. Sarah's parents feel regretful and want to return home, when suddenly a sound comes from the warehouse. Although bound hand and foot, Sarah managed to hit something and make a noise. Hamid is startled but quickly composes himself, saying, "It's just cats. Probably a cat bumped into something and made a noise." Sarah's mother becomes suspicious and insists on checking inside the warehouse. She puts Hamid outside in the courtyard, and by sheer luck, a cat jumps in unexpectedly, and Hamid quickly exclaims, "See, I told you it was the cats. I always feed them. That's why they come by every day. Now, if you don't mind, I'm running late and need to take the milk to the town." Sarah's parents, after seeing the cat and hearing Hamid's explanation, are convinced and turn back. Hamid quickly pours the villager's milk into the tank in his car, puts Sarah with her mouth and hands tied inside the car, covers her with a rope, and heads towards the town. Everything was going according to their plans. To reach the town, he had to pass through two villages. He bypassed the first village and arrived at the second one. There, he entered various alleys, turned off the car, thoroughly inspected the alley, and quickly opened an abandoned house with a key. His friend, who was around 30ish, was inside. He glanced at the alley, then opened the car door and, with the help of his friend named Nader, brought Sarah inside the house and went to take the milk to the town. Although from the outside the abandoned house seemed deserted, but it was well equipped from the inside. It was a large house with several rooms, but one of the rooms was larger than the rest, a room where no interesting events happened. Nader opened Sarah's paced mouth and told her to scream as much as she wanted. No one was supposed to hear her. And he ran his fingers over Sarah's lips as Sarah grabbed his fingers tightly. Nader felt pain, got angry, and slapped Sarah in the face. He lifted her up and took her to the main room, opened the door, threw her in, and closed the door. Blood was coming from Sarah's lips. She felt pain all over her body. When she heard the sound, it came to her, the voice of a young girl her age. The girl smiled, extended her hand, and said, "Hi, I'm Maral. What's your name?" Sarah shocked, but extended her hand and said, "I'm Sarah." There was no need for anything else to be said. With a look, they understood that their situation was the same, and they hugged each other. Maral gradually explained to her what is happening in this house. Maral said that they only keep two girls here at the same time. Each girl has been here for 2 months, and most nights different men come, give money to another, and when she reaches here, tears came out of the corner of her eyes, and with a sob she continued, "They salt us." Sarah's entire body froze, and fear and anxiety engulfed her completely. Maral continued, "One of the girls changes every month, and the old girl who has been here for a month gets acquainted with the new girl who is just starting her first day." Maral told Sarah that she had understood this information from the previous girl and herself. Sarah said with concern, "I'm escaping. I will escape, no matter what." Maral said, "From what I heard, they have tried to escape several times, but it hasn't helped and has only made things worse for them." Sarah had her knees bent, her head turned to a sign of dissatisfaction and denial, shaking. On the first night, nothing happened. Nader brought them something as food and didn't bother them. But on the second night, with the sound of footsteps heard by them, they realized something was up. They quickly got up and sat down. Sarah and Maral were looking fearfully at the closed door. Of course, Sarah was much more scared than Maral. The door opened and 3 people entered along with Nader. They looked at the faces and figures of the two and seemed to be discussing prices in terms with Nader. It seemed like they reached an agreement as Nader left the room with a smile and closed the door. Now Sarah and Maral were left alone with 3 strange men in the room. They approached, tore off their clothes, and mercilessly assaulted them for hours. Their bodies naked, wounded, and lifeless lay on the ground holding each other, suffering the same fate that haunted them almost every night. They became closer every day, like 2 sisters, until it was almost announced that Sarah was there and they knew Maral was going to be taken away and a new girl brought in. It was unclear what fate awaited Maral, but the only thing they were sure of was that they wouldn't let her leave. Sarah said, "I will stick to my plan. I said we would escape, and I will take you out of here too." Every day, Sarah noted in her mind the sound of Nader coming and going, based on the sound of his footsteps and the door. Nader would enter the house, take off his coat, hang it, and after hanging it, he would lock the main door. Since the girls had been trouble-free for this month, Nader stopped tying their hands and only locked the room and the main door. Today was Mara's last day, and they would take her tomorrow. Sarah and Moral endured the nights in hope of the plan they drew over the days, thinking. The sound of the door opening came. Sarah quickly stood up, went behind the door, and pressed her ear against it. Nader took off his coat and hung it, and when he was about to lock the door, Sarah signaled to Moral that now was the time. Moral started screaming and moaning, and Sarah also said, "Help, help, she's not feeling well." Nader rushed towards the door of the room, unlocked it, and saw Moral on the floor. He quickly ran towards her and asked what had happened, but Sarah, with all her strength, hit Nader on the head with the bucket placed in the room as a toilet. Nader fell on Moral. Sarah took a few steps back and looked at Moral. Both of them were relieved. Moral tried to push Nader off herself, and Sarah helped. Sarah grabbed Moral's hand and tried to lift her, but Sarah froze. She saw Nader take a knife from his pocket and stab Moral in the side. Sarah's hands were trembling, not knowing what to do, when Moral told her, "Escape. Go. Save yourself." Moral pulled the knife out of her side and stabbed Nader in the stomach before falling to the ground herself. Sarah's terrified, but she knows that if she doesn't escape, she doesn't know what trouble might face. She gathers all her strength and quickly heads towards the exit. She runs through the alleys one after another and starts screaming in the middle of the village square. The people of the village take her to the police station in the city, and Sarah explains everything to them. The police quickly go and arrest Nader, soaked in blood, along with his accomplices. Yes, they catch him alive, because Moral had her last breath and didn't have enough strength to stab him deeply in the stomach. And this way, Sarah finds salvation and is returned to her parents. During these 2 months, the police were also conducting their own investigations into this case, so much so that they were close to solving it at a few steps. And if Sarah hadn't escaped, the police could have found her, although it was not clear what unexpected events could have unfolded. If you like this video, I will make another video about how police find Sarah. Have a good night.